Andrew Tate's request to be released from Romanian jail has been denied. The appeal is done while Romanian authorities continue to look into the allegations of sexual assault and sex trafficking against him, his brother, and 2 others. So at least for the rest of this month, he is going to continue to be held as the investigation continues. Here are some more details. Tate, his brother Tristan, and 2 Romanian women were photographed pulling up to the courthouse in a police van on Tuesday for the appeal hearing, which lasted 5 hours. All 4 were arrested just a little while ago as part of a human trafficking and rape investigation, and they're being held for a period of 30 days. But all are accused of exploiting women to produce porn for their online business, including one woman who has made accusations of rape. All 4 defendants in the case lost the appeal and will remain in detention for now. The reason for this, according to the judge, and I think this is the most reasonable conclusion, is that because they have their ill-gotten money, if he lets them out, they can simply flee. And I think that makes sense, especially because Andrew Tate is a guy who has talked about going to Romania because he thinks he can get away with crimes there. And they have different views on rape and all that comport more with his baked in radical misogyny. So yeah, he seems like the sort of guy who would be perfectly willing to set up criminal shop in a different country. You can't let him go. JR, what do you think?
Well, good on them, I guess, because honestly, as this all thing was happening, and he exposed himself and mentioned his cars, and I heard also his cars got seized, which is more of the the karma of this whole thing. If you can openly talk about how you're fleeing and going to certain countries so that your I guess business of trafficking and rape allegedly can thrive there, I think you're kind of exposing yourself, right? Or aren't you also insinuating that this country is okay with those things, which may cause some judgment on the law enforcement system there? Either way it goes, there's this weird thought that you can just now vocally and openly talk about how horrible of a person you are, and that gets you clicks, that gets you followers and supporters, which by the way does nothing else but more than proving just how disjointed society is. That's an indictment of our society, that there's enough people that can follow this guy and lead him to think he's this notable figure because he's a piece of garbage. That's winning. It sucks, but that's what our society is now congratulating and awarding people for being pieces of garbage. Well, I'm glad someone's finally trying to stop him.
By the way, if all of the things we've revealed about him to you don't get you to think he's garbage, first of all, leave. What's wrong with you? But here's a little bit more. So not this specifically, I just want to be clear, but this photo, this is Andrew Tate who showed up to the court carrying a Quran, which is interesting, not because he supposedly converted to Islam or whatever, but because of a previous tweet he'd sent out that says this. This is just like this is a month ago. Reading books is for losers who are afraid to learn from life. So they try and learn from the life others have lived. But you never really learn unless you lived it. You must feel it to believe it. What is this, a lyric from a bad 90s pop song? Books are a total waste of time. Education for cowards. No, not education for cowards. Education, that's what it is. What are you talking? Okay. The fact that he is tweeting about how much he despises the reading of books is already great by itself. But that's not the best part. Did anyone else catch the best part here? Okay, these are people who are afraid to learn from life, so they try and learn from the life others have lived. Sign up to Hustlers University, where you can watch lessons I've prepared for you about how you can get rich and all. Well, that's your entire business model. That's your whole grift. That's how you made the money. That and sexually assaulting and exploiting women allegedly. And so it's just amazing. And I'm gonna throw one more thing out there because I should have predicted this. They always get to this point in these sorts of trials. This is a statement from his lawyer, Eugene Vidiniak. It's unfair to judge Mr. Tate by the persona he presents on social media, which was different to what the man is like in real life. The character he portrayed online should not be used as evidence in a criminal trial. We live in a reality of 2023 in which various people promote themselves as characters on social media, promoting an image, a product, an idea. This is exactly what Alex Jones said. This is exactly what Tucker Carlson says. Oh, I'm authentic and I'm a populist and I'm an alpha and you should trust me. Oh wait, consequences. That was all just a goof. I'm not actually like that at all. Not in any way that would make me legally culpable for any of this. You freaking cowards. all that alpha stuff, he is immediately running from everything about himself that he uses to sell himself. I don't believe that this is gonna win over a single one of his cultists or whatever, but all of this should be damning. Anyway.
So he's an actor. Same as you said that Alex Jones is an actor. I'm an actor. I do these things to act. Bro, well, if you incite people to violence, I don't care if you're acting or not. If you say you are, violence still happened. And as we hopefully continue to find out through these allegations, it wasn't just acting. And lastly about the books, I love the point, of course, because all he's doing is the same thing. Someone doesn't like to write nor read.
Yep.
And so he can't make money off of someone reading your work. You have to say it. That's all that's different.
100%. Yeah, no, nobody ever doubted that you were playing it up for the camera. You're like, no one is actually that much of a douche. I'm sure that it's based on, well, you do the crimes. I'm sure that you are very misogynistic, very violent, all of that stuff. But the idea that you can simply say it was a sketch you were doing and get out of the consequences, no, sexual assault's not, it's not a parody, it's not satire. It's a horrific thing to have done. Anyway.
And for all the idiots that follow it, after he says, just joking, I didn't mean any of that stuff. I was joking and that was a parody or whatever hell he's calling it. Shouldn't that make you go, wow, I'm a sucker. He was just joking and I thought it was real.
They never, like, I don't understand. Like, they work so hard to make every one of their followers know that they're a con man. And the resistance to recognizing that is so strong.